and welcome back to that Eurovision podcast, Eurovision with a Slice of Life. My name is Tim. My pronouns are he, him. Wow, it's been a long time since I've done an episode, and I'm very, very excited. We're recording this at the end of November, so you'll know that in just a couple of weeks, when we're recording this, an important contest is coming up. But before I mention and talk about that, I'm just going to introduce who's with me in this episode.
Hello, it's me, it's Janek. I am very happy to be on this episode. And another episode. I've been in on many episodes lately, so I'm enjoying doing these episodes. I am really excited to talk about this because I am very, very into Junior Eurovision. I think it's very underrated in the Euro fandom. So I just want to throw my few cents into this year's contest. And you mentioned, Tim, that we are having the contest in like a couple of weeks. Like it's actually next week. Like have tomorrow. The day we are recording is the 30th of November. So like tomorrow we have December, and like in 10 days, practically we have the contest. That's like very very soon. So I'm really excited about the contest and to talk about it.
Well, spoiler alert already. Yannick already mentioned what we're going to talk about. Of course, we're going to talk about the Junior Eurovision Song Contest. If you don't already know, or if you don't catch up with any of the regular news sites, this is a segue to actually just follow us at that Eurovision site. Armenia will be hosting this year's contest in Yerevan at the Karen Demirchian Sports and Concerts Complex on the 11th of December after Malena won in Paris in 2021 with the song Kami Kami, which when I was there, though, that was fun. 16 countries will be participating in this year's contest, and they are as follows. Albania will be represented by Caitlin Jata with Pakashtiel. Armenia will be represented by Nare with the song Dance. France will be represented by Lisandro with Omamon. Georgia will be represented by Miriam Bigvava with I Believe. Ireland will be represented by Sophie Lennon with Solus. Italy will be represented by Chanel Delecta with Blah Blah Blah. Kazakhstan will be represented by David Charlene with Yer Ana, Mother Earth. Malta will be represented by Guy Gambutsa with Diamonds in the Skies.
And representing the Netherlands will be Luna with La Festa. Representing North Macedonia will be Lara with Jovan and Irina with the song Život Pred mene. Poland will be represented by Laura with her song To the Moon. Portugal will be represented by Nicolas Alves with his song Anos 70. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know how 70 is in Portuguese. Serbia will be represented by Katarina Savic with Svet bez granica. Spain will be represented by Carlos Kies with Senorita. Ukraine will be represented by Złota Dziunka with Neslamna. And the United Kingdom, coming back to the contest, will be presented by Freya Sky with her song Lose My Head.
If you don't already know, in this year's contest, we will not see Azerbaijan, Bulgaria, Germany, and Russia. Whilst after 17 years, we have the United Kingdom returning to the competition. I just wanted to start off the Junior Eurovision 2022 with just a question overall, Yannick. What do you think of the overall lineup? Because obviously by now we have all the songs, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on what do you think of the lineup overall as a picture.
So coming to the 2022 edition from last year's edition, I was thinking that we'll be having a lot of pop songs like Kami Kami, like the modern sounding, very pop, that are very poppy and could be thrown into the regular radios or something. And I was surprised that you couldn't pinpoint a song that you would say it's a Kami Kami copy, like in question marks. Like I feel like most of the countries didn't go from formula that last year's winner had. Like maybe there are some cases I would say maybe they so maybe there's some inspiration for that. I feel like everyone just stick from what I want to. Like maybe the only country I could say Armenia, going back to the last year's formula, but maybe doing something a bit different than Kami. When when we were at the beginning of song releases, I thought that the year would be rather weak with the few songs we had, and that it won't be as competitive as I thought. But with the more and more songs releasing, I was very surprised that I was wrong and happy that I was wrong, because I think like are having a very strong year and a very competitive year. Like every song has a chance to do well. Some maybe more than or less, but I feel like the competition is very strong. And the songs aren't similar to each other. Like every country did their own thing. And I think like there is you could choose even in the same genre of songs. I would say they aren't similar to each other. The countries are taking this edition seriously, sending quality songs, and I'm very happy that we are having another year. Like, if you are a fan of Junior Eurovision and you saw how other editions are happening, especially the era like between maybe 2004 and 2011, 2012. 2012, I think, was the pinpoint that Junior Eurovision was beginning to change. Like with every year, we had like one song that was a clear winner, and other were like felt like fillerish. But I'm really happy that from 2012 onwards, we are having stronger and stronger songs, and in other modern Eurovision era, also Junior Eurovision is as strong as you would say adult contest. Like we were saying that last year with Kami Kami would be a song that you could be sending to adult Eurovision, and also some songs this year I would say this could do well in adult contests.
I mean, looking at the lineup so far, first of all, I'm just going to mark the United Kingdom, you return for not competing for so long. I mean, I get it that it's the BBC handling their participation this year, not ITV. So just looking at that, and you're returning with such a strong entry, so it makes me a bit optimistic about their long term goals, which Lee Smithers have already said that this isn't a one off. This is for the long term, and hopefully that sticks. And hopefully, we'll see them in 2023. Looking at it, seeing a lot of upbeat entries, and that's good because at the time like this, I mean, entertainment is a good source of distraction with what's happening in the world. And yes, I get it. We have to be realistic. We have to talk about, what's going on in the world as well. But, that doesn't stop the fact that we're allowed to have fun as well. So I'm looking forward to the upbeat entries and looking at the participating countries that actually decided to use national finals to select their representatives and put all that resources and effort that actually has paid off, because just looking at what they sent, there's that fresh appeal, and then just like everyone just upped their game, and it's very, very surprising. And like he said, some of these entries could actually pass off participating at Eurovision. Like, dare I say, even on social media, I've seen some of them say, you should have saved this for Liverpool, or you should have saved it, you should have like kept it because it's just that good. And also the fact that, there's the language rule. So the fact that there's the mesh of English and the native language, and it just meshes very well throughout the song. And they do it so well, which makes me intrigued on how they'll perform it on stage. We'll find out soon. But, anyways, moving on. I wanted to ask you, Yannick, looking at the entries that we have for this year's contest, I'll give you a couple that you can explain on just so we can talk about this further. Was there an entry or two that you felt when you first listened to it, it just caught your attention in a snap. And you're just, I really like this. And you're just kind of hooked to it. And you just keep on listening and listening to it. I mean, as we lead on to the contest.
I have a few songs that I'm like, this is brilliant from first listen. I think I'm gonna try to do it chronologically with how songs were releasing, because first country that I was like, wow, this is great. This is winning material was the Netherlands. When I saw the live performance of that, I was like, this is a national final selection performance, and this is already ready to be performed in Yerevan. And the song is just an earworm. Like when when you are listening to their podcast and you actually maybe more Isabel is talking about, but nonsense lyrics sometimes are either the worst thing that are happening, but in La Festa's way, I'm like, this works so much. Like, get ready for La Festa. Like, this is so memorable. Like, I could listen to this a lot, a lot, a lot. And the Netherlands were my winners for a very long time. Just after the maybe last few songs I were releasing. So the next song that kind of grabbed my attention from the first note was when I was listening to the UK for the first time. Like the intro was just so good. So like I was captivated by the music video for the whole time I was listening, and for the few days after I was like listening to it over and over and over again, and I didn't get bored of it. I feel like just making like strong interest the songs work so well, and other song that just grabs you from the moment you it starts is Georgia. Like that intro at the beginning, it's so powerful, and the intro like it continues for a while, and it repeats after some parts of the songs, and I feel like Georgia also has done a great job for choosing something that grabs your attention from the very start. The last song that I would throw it away here was Ireland. Like when the beginning started, like it grabs your attention because it's something different than what you're used to before. And in this year, of course, when you hear her start singing in Gaelic, you just get in a trance looking at her in the music video, and the song is just. I can talk about Arendt for a long time, but I'm going to just stop to say that, like, songs that grab your attention from the very beginning are just excellent.
For me, I'll say three because you said three. I'll just make it even. There's looking at the lineup. There is three. All of them have got a great start, where you can just tell. Okay, I can tell which one's which. But the three that like caught my attention straight away: Armenia, dance with the little beat, and then the whistle tones with that, and I actually just want to play the I forgot what the toy name is, but like just like spin it because it's spin the magic. That was the one that like caught my attention because like I've I found myself like humming. It's like just wanna dance, dance, dance. Da, 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 da. That's a good one. The second one, France, Oh Maman. It's kind of giving you that nostalgic vibe, but in a good way. In a good way, just because of the fact that it's the one that it hooks you in the beginning but also builds up on the beginning of it. So when you get to the chorus, it gives me that 70s vibe, gives me Elvis vibes, just like the old times, like like you see in the classic movies. It's that kind of thing that gives me a oomph that kind of hooks me into it. And finally, I'll be a terrible stan if I don't say this. North Macedonia, just because of the like, I think it was the piano in the beginning, and then the instrumentation builds up into it, and then when you get to the chorus, bam, it all comes together, and the beat kicks in, and it's just a smiley song, and like I can't stop smiling whenever I listen to it. And I really hope they do it justice, because it's one of those where I don't know how they'll stage this, and I'm very curious, and we'll build up into that later on. But yeah, those are the three that, like, when I first listened to them, I was just like, okay, I'm very excited about this. Moving on. At the time of recording, we don't know anything about the songs. So we've only got the music videos to go off by. I'll give you the same option again, Janet. How curious are you on seeing them on stage in Yerevan? Or like looking forward to see it, per se?
So before I will go to the three countries, I'm just gonna do a quick intro ramble about staging this year, because if we are looking at the songs this year, there are a few songs that you are sure that what the staging will look like. Like we had like three national finals this year, like Poland, Netherlands, Malta. I think Malta and Poland will not be bringing the national finals performances to the Yerevan. Maybe Malta can do something with what they had, but I think like they had such little space to do this. But we are sure about the Netherlands stages. I feel like they will bring what they did in national finals, but just bring it to the bigger stage. Like if it's not broken, don't fix it. Like it's just how it was perfect in the national final selection. The other stage that we are sure about it, I would say sure, because I think we will be having probably the same stagings for it, like the UK. Like the music video already looked like it was a performance rather than making a video of the for the song. And also Freya did that one performance on yes, children in it, and they just brought the performance from the music video to the stage, and I feel like it was perfect for it. I think the performance was great, and they shouldn't change anything. Like I know she got a lot of hate for the performance, but like, just get a job. Don't hate on kids. Just go touch grass, find a job, do something else than throwing shade at kids. Like, sorry for that, but yeah. And we had a few selections that like only chose the singer, like Ireland, Kazakhstan. I think it was Kazakhstan. It was a real situation in Kazakhstan, but I'm not delve into it. But I want to start with Kazakhstan because I'm very curious about their stagings, because always they always have beautiful music videos. Just this year shows that they have a budget for Junior Eurovision, and the music videos show that. Like maybe the songs are always great. Like Jarani, I think it's fine, it's great, but I feel like the stagings could be either a great addition to the song, and performance-wise, I think it could either work or just flop. Like since Danilia represented Kazakhstan a few years ago with a splendid stagings, I feel like Kazakhstan went more into like a plain stagings for a few years. I'm really excited to see what they are planning to do with Jarani. The other song I think I am very curious about is Ireland, because everything Salas is they took Banshee and just upgraded it 100 times more. Like, I think I love Banshee, but I feel like Salas has a upgraded version of it. They said, okay, what we did wrong in the past years, and they looked at, I think like maybe something similar to Banshee, but I feel like more fit into the staging itself rather than copy paste. But I think like the Banshee staging doesn't work with Solace for me, and I think for a lot of people that they want something better. Like I want to see the Celtic vibe in the stagings a lot. And the third country I'm really excited about. I was talking about country. I will talk about it probably a lot more. Is Georgia. that music video is so mysterious, and the way they used to record the music video with the birds and the costumes. I'm really excited how they're gonna make the performance look. I'm really hoping for a lot of visuals with the birds, with maybe not don't bring the costumes, maybe not, but I really want to see the birds in the staging, and it doesn't need a lot, just her and her voice. She has amazing voice, so I think it would be if just fine with her. But I say, but the dancers could work. Not always Georgia likes to bring dancers when they don't need to, but I think maybe I don't know. I am indifferent about the dancers. But yeah, Georgia, I'm really excited to see what they are bringing to the stage.
Okay, three entries that I'm looking forward to seeing on stage. I'm very curious about. I'm gonna start off with the first country in alphabetical order, and that's Albania. I'm very curious to this because it is a ballad, and last time Albania sent a ballad was in 2019 with Isaiah Sicily with Mikia Im Femiri. Hopefully, I pronounced that right. And in Gliwice Silesia, Isaiah was just actually just standing on stage, and there was some visuals in the background. Whether they're gonna pursue that same format again, who knows? So that's what I'm very curious about. The second one would be Portugal, Nicolas Alves. And that's just because it's a rock entry. We rarely get rock entries in Junior Eurovision. Last year we did have one with Elisabetta from Italy. Elisabetta brought dancers, there are lots of flashing lights. I mean, I'd say this is rock mid tempo, so kind of like Ireland, or they're just about. So might be just alone on stage with some visuals in the background. We won't know. And the third one is Ukraine and Zlata Ojinka with Neslamna. The only reason why I'm very curious about this is because, obviously, because of what's going on in Ukraine, the national final just consisted of a green screen performance. So basically, Zlata was just singing on a green screen background. We don't have any staging concepts. So I'm very curious to see how they would translate the song into the stage, because even the music video itself, how would you translate that to the stage? That's just my personal opinion. I don't know how to. But for me, that's the one thing I'm very curious about, and that's what I'm looking forward to see when I do watch it in person in Yerevan. Okay, moving on. I will ask you something entirely different, just because obviously we're all Euro fans. So like some of us are obsessed with. I mean, all of us are obsessed with Eurovision, the Euro fandom, and there's some who takes on Junior Eurovision. So us, because we cover the news. My question is, if you were gonna recommend the show to any, like, let's say a friend of yours who don't have an interest at Eurovision, say, okay, 11th of December, 4 p.m. Central European time, go watch Junior Eurovision. What three entries would you say? Oh, watch out for this, watch out for this, watch out for this. So like three entries that you think they should look out for when they're watching the show on the 11th of December.
I really I'm going to talk about the set inches again, but so just because I am talking about the same inches again, I'm gonna throw a different one. Something to talk about for. Like the songs that I think are giving me the biggest winner vibes. I'm like, look out at this and this because I think they're going to win. So I would say the UK. I think like they have potential to win, and I am looking at Georgia. Like these songs, I am think like with they're going to be the best at night. They could just win. Like the UK, I see the potential from the support they're having from the juries. Like she has an amazing voice. She has it's another ballady song. It's a more like a dark ballad, and you could see a potential. for winning the juries, and I also is Georgia. Of course, it's going to do well in televotes, like always does well. And the UK is just it screams to me doing well with juries and televotes as well. Like with Georgia, you could say that maybe televotes less, but I think like UK could bring like the perfect balance between them and the UK and the juries and televotes. I would say watch out for Ireland because this is the stuff you wouldn't see at adult Eurovision from Ireland. Like never, maybe someday we could see Celtic Gaelic bars at Eurovision, but like if you want to see how different and amazing the Irish culture is, I would say Ireland and Celtic, how Celtics, how music in the Celtic areas are, and just a random, I would say, if you want the most trashy pop you could imagine, like it's not the most expensive song, but like it's an earworm and it's so good. I would say Italy, like blah blah blah. It's the perfect song to just be like dancing to. Like it's amazing. Blah blah is one of my honorable mentions and guilty pleasures this year because it's not the greatest pop song you could ever hear, and it doesn't have to be. It's just amazing. Like the lyrics are also like you would say cringy, but it's a child contest, so you can sleep at like blah 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 is a perfect song for like you are just sitting, no brain, no empty head empty, just sitting here, and you have to listen to something trash. I would say Italy and North Macedonia as well in this category as trashy pop songs that you just you don't have to be a music critic to enjoy. Uh, like I think music critics would enjoy this too because how easy it is to just hum along like the blah 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 parole parole is in your head 24/7, and I think like yeah. Tim and I have a soft spot for blah blah blah, and I think he would agree with this. Like, it's not the most best written song of all time. Like, it's just an enjoyable, trashy pop song that you would enjoy.
Okay, if I was recommending Junior Eurovision to a non-watcher, I would start off with, I'd say Kazakhstan, just because Kazakhstan always brings in vocals, and if it's a song contest at the end of the day, so I'm guessing David would bring in those vocals for them. Second, I'd say Spain, because just because of the fact that it is winter right now. It is very, 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 very cold. And I think it'll give us some heat and make us move and dance. There's already the Senorita dance challenge on TikTok, which I still need to do before I get to Yerevan, and I have been practicing it. And just the last one, just because it's a bias for me, UK. I can't just not say it just because I was a child one time. I was actually here in the UK, and I felt really annoyed that the UK hadn't been participating for so long. So it's kind of like a redemption era. So the fact that the UK is here, we kind of need to support it, because for us Brits, if we don't do well on it, or like if we don't support it, then the BBC might shy away from it. So if we support it, then that long term goal might come to fruition, and we might actually see continuous participation for the UK. Okay, rounding things up, we are going to have a wonderful show this year. Some details have already been announced. So, my question is, Yannick, what are you looking forward to watching this year's contest in about 10 days' time as the time of recording?
As you mentioned, there were some details about the show that were revealed a few days ago. One of them that I'm very excited about is the hosts. If you didn't know, the hosts for this year's contest are Ibrahim Kuchian, who represented Armenia in 2016 with Love Wave. Amazing song. We also have Gary Papoyan. I am not familiar with him and his work. I think he's a presenter or maybe something like that.
he co-wrote Walking Out and Not
Oh,
Alone.
okay. So he produces music and writes music. Okay, that's fitting for Junior Division. And of course, the third host. If you listen to the 2019 episode for Junior Division we did a few months back, maybe a month back, and what is time? Karina Ignatian, who represented Armenia in Colors of Your Regime, one of the best songs that came out from Eurovision. I've been saying for years, let her represent Armenia at the contest soon. And she's here for hosting Junior. Maybe it's a sign that she's going to appear in the pre-event next year. Maybe, please, hoping for that. Of course, we have some interval arcs, and we have two confirmed interval arcs. We have Kamikami that plays. Probably Mana has something else also to perform, but hearing Kamikami after a year would be amazing. And of course, we have the star of Armenia, that were Rosalind, making performance during the contest. So I'm really excited to see her perform after she kind of blew up on the internet with Snap. Of course, I am really excited for the results itself. Like, as I said, I can't pinpoint who will be in top five. I could throw some countries who I think would be top five, but I'm really excited. I really hope we could hear Televoice goes to United Kingdom a few times again this year, like we did in Adult Eurovision. So the Brits could have something to to hold on for a while. We don't know how they will handle the next year editions of contests. So I'm very excited for the contest itself. I'm very excited for the stagings, like I said. So yeah.
Okay, what am I looking forward to? If you don't follow me on social media already, then you'll know that I am heading to Armenia in a few days after this recording. By the time this goes out, I would be in Yerevan probably. What am I looking forward to? Being back on the ground to watch the show again. Like, it's always great seeing the vibe in there because we're also the audience is always so supportive of everyone regardless of the act. And me with my British flag, because I'll be supporting Freya amongst the other countries that have flags off, which is already in my suitcase. I will be bringing with me, of course. Another thing would be seeing Rosalind, because I watched her in Amsterdam for the first time, and then saw her in Madrid, of course, saw her in Turin, saw her in London when she had her first show here. And now it's just the full circle again of like the journey from then till now. It's just really amazing. And same with Milena, because I was in Paris when I saw her win, and the scream and joy that being in the audience were for that was really amazing. Another thing is seeing Iveta again, because I was in 2016 same Karina, so I've seen all of them, and it's just like it's just that full circle, kind of like full circle moment. It's like, wow, I'm seeing these artists again. But the main thing is seeing all the 16 participants on stage and seeing them give their heart out, and no matter what the result is, they've done a great job for their young age. They've done more than what I have done, and I'm 27 at the time of this recording. So it says so much that they've already done something and performed at such a big stage for their age. It's fascinating, and I give them a lot of respect for that. And I do hope that their careers flourish after this, because they all deserve it. And who knows, we might see some of them in Eurovision in the future once they reach the minimum age requirement. They might be there, who knows. But anywho, just to round up this episode, Yannick, if you don't know anything about this, you don't know anything, we don't know about anything about the staging, what do you think the top three would be, without knowing anything?
Uh, oh, that's a difficult spot you put me in. As I said, I think top two will be UK, Georgia, and third will be, if Europe isn't an abomination after the votes and Ireland doesn't come top five, I would say Ireland top third, but I think Ireland won't be top three, maybe top five. I was hoping, but I would say the Netherlands also has a high chance to finish top three. I would also throw maybe Armenia, Kazakhstan, Poland. I didn't talk about Poland about this episode. As a Pole, I would say that I'm very proud of Laura and her song, hoping for maybe similar quality to in adult Eurovision. But yeah, I think UK, Georgia, Netherlands will be top three in whatever order it will be. I could see every every country from this three. I would say has a high chance to win.
Okay, for me, I'm gonna preface this that we don't know anything. I am gonna repeat this again before you all come for me and Yannick. We don't know anything at the time recording, and on that preface, I'll say the UK because we've seen how much effort Freya has put into this, and the fact that she's faced so much criticism after Children in Need. I'm gonna just echo what Yannick said. Please get a job. If you made those comments, that was just ridiculous. The fact that you're sending hate to a 13-year-old, that's just not right at all. Second, I'd say the Netherlands, because no matter what happens, they always do such a great job. You know, they might have come last. I think this will be the redemption arc, because it that like I mean Ayana didn't deserve that, but it is what it is. Someone's gotta come last, and I hopefully that's not a repeat what happened in Paris. Fingers crossed. Very offshoot. What will be a third one? Ukraine, just because it's that powerful. It's that I think people see the message whether you're young or old. Of course, we have a jury on there, so that might topple it to the top. Who knows? Also, I will give just a quick before we go, quick shout out to Serbia because I don't think we've talked that quite enough, and Katarina Savic. Another thing I'd be very curious about, and I think that the juries might, you know, rank high. We'll see, but very very excited for it. But anywho, this brings us to the end of another That Eurovision podcast episode. I would like to thank Yannick for joining me, and just to reiterate once again that the 2022 Junior Eurovision Song Contest will take place on the 11th of December, 4 p.m. Central European Time. And don't forget to follow us at that Euro site on Twitter because we will be live tweeting it. So we still don't know who it will be. We might not have that news for you until on the day itself. But, keep an eye out on our social medias for that news. But for anywho, don't forget to follow That Your Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for latest episodes. And, to keep up to date with anything Eurovision and Junior Eurovision, don't forget to follow That Eurovision site at That Your Site on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.